It's not a question of, do you think we can do without it? We can't.
President Trump seems determined to take over and has refused to rule out using force.
I think we're going to get it. One way or the other, we're going to get it.
It's one of the most remote and mysterious places on Earth, a land of ice, snow, and silence. Greenland, a vast, icy island with fewer than 60,000 residents scattered across rugged coastlines and small towns. For centuries, it has existed on the periphery of global attention until now, because once again, former U.S. President Donald Trump has ignited global tension by reviving one of his most bizarre and controversial ideas: buying Greenland. Yes, buying it like a piece of real estate.
President Trump says the United States needs Greenland for international security. The president insisting that the U.S. must control the semi-autonomous Danish territory. He made those remarks from the White House while Vice President J.D. Vance visited a U.S. military base in Greenland and said that Denmark has underinvested in the island's security.
But this time, Greenland didn't just scoff. It didn't just reject. It fired back. Not with weapons or protests, but with something far more powerful: democracy. And what unfolded in 2025 shocked the world. In August 2019, while still in office, Donald Trump floated an idea that seemed ripped from the pages of a Cold War-era strategy manual, or maybe a real estate brochure. He wanted the United States to purchase Greenland. It wasn't a joke. He genuinely believed the acquisition made strategic and economic sense. After all, Trump had built his entire career on bold real estate moves, and to him, Greenland was just another big deal. But the world didn't see it that way. The idea was swiftly and bluntly rejected. Denmark, which oversees Greenland as part of its kingdom, was appalled. Greenland's own government was even more adamant. The island was not for sale. Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen didn't mince words. She called Trump's proposal absurd, adding that Greenland is Greenlandic. It's not Danish. Greenland belongs to Greenland. Trump, true to form, didn't take kindly to the rejection. He abruptly canceled a planned state visit to Denmark and lashed out at Frederiksen, labeling her comments nasty. But behind the headlines and the drama, a deeper question had been stirred, one that would take years to answer. Who truly decides Greenland's future? And in 2025, the people of Greenland gave their answer. To many, Donald Trump's desire to buy Greenland seemed absurd, even laughable. But behind the headlines and late-night comedy jokes, his interest had very real, strategic motivations. Greenland isn't just a frozen wasteland, it's a geopolitical prize. First, there's the military value. Greenland is home to the U.S. Air Force's Thule Air Base, the northernmost military installation in the world. Now part of the U.S. Space Force, it plays a critical role in missile warning systems and Arctic defense. Controlling more of the island would give the U.S. a stronger foothold in the rapidly changing Arctic region. Then there are the resources. Beneath Greenland's thick layers of ice lie massive reserves of uranium, rare earth minerals, and potentially untapped oil. These resources are becoming more accessible as climate change melts the polar ice, making the island not just strategically important, but economically tempting. And let's not forget the new shipping lanes. As Arctic ice recedes, previously unreachable waters are opening up, offering faster trade routes between Europe, Asia, and North America. To Trump, Greenland represented the ultimate smart business move, a long-term investment with massive returns. But he wasn't the only one watching. China and Russia have also shown interest in the Arctic, raising the stakes even higher. Donald Trump's proposal to buy Greenland wasn't just a whimsical idea, it was rooted in strategic ambition.
President Trump says he will do whatever it takes to take control of Greenland. Speaking to an NBC reporter, Trump said that includes military force, but it probably won't be needed. This comes one day after Vice President Vance visited a U.S. military base in Greenland. Speaking to troops, he said the island is important for defense and economic reasons. The trip has sparked international backlash.
Greenland holds a truly unique position in the global political landscape. Though it is part of the Kingdom of Denmark, it operates as an autonomous territory and has been gradually expanding its self-rule for decades. In 1979, Greenland gained its first degree of home rule, managing internal affairs such as education and health. In 2009, it took a major step forward with a new self-government act, granting control over law enforcement, natural resources, and more. Denmark still oversees defense, currency, and foreign policy, but even that is up for debate as Greenland's political maturity grows. Under Danish law, Greenland has the legal right to declare full independence, as long as it does so through a public referendum. And the desire for that independence is growing. Greenlanders speak their own language, Kala-Alit, and are proud of their Inuit heritage. Their culture, identity, and connection to the land run deep, and many are no longer content with outside powers shaping their future. The idea of foreign control, especially from someone like Trump, cuts against the core of Greenland's rising national pride. And when Trump returned with his offer in 2025, the reaction was anything but diplomatic.
For months now, President Trump has been talking tough about taking control of Greenland as US territory. But yesterday here in Greenland, Vice President Vance used a much more conciliatory tone, saying, quote, "We do not think military force is ever going to be necessary."
But he was far from silent. As he ramped up rhetoric for another run at the White House, he dusted off one of his most bizarre and provocative ideas: buying Greenland. This time, he didn't frame it as a wild thought experiment. He called it a strategic necessity. In interviews and campaign-style speeches, he hinted that acquiring Greenland would be a key part of his foreign policy agenda if re-elected. To Trump, it was unfinished business, but to Greenlanders, it felt like déjà vu, and not in a good way. His remarks came just weeks before Greenland's scheduled parliamentary elections, a sensitive time when the country was already deeply engaged in questions about its political future. The timing couldn't have been worse. Many locals were outraged. Once again, an outsider, and not just any outsider, but a powerful American figure, was talking about Greenland as though it were up for grabs. The people of Greenland were tired of being spoken about instead of spoken to, tired of being treated like a commodity in global power plays. This time, however, Greenland's response was far more organized and resolute. Global media jumped on the story, but instead of just scoffing, Greenlanders mobilized. The 2025 elections suddenly took on new meaning, not just a political contest, but a symbolic stand for sovereignty. The world watched closely, and this time, the icy silence of Greenland turned into a loud democratic roar. Greenland didn't need to shout or protest to make its voice heard. It used democracy. In 2025, the people sent a clear message to Trump and the world. Greenland is not for sale. Not now. Not ever. The island is charting its own path, not as a bargaining chip, but as a nation with pride, culture, and purpose. If you believe small nations can stand tall on the world stage, hit like, subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments below.